Hello and welcome. This is FIDE Master Vedant Goswami. Today we are going to discuss and analyze the Scholar's Mate. So the Scholar's Mate is one of the shortest checkmates in the game of chess, and it's an absolute terror for beginners, and uh, it is the most common way to lose a game of chess when you're just starting out. So we'll see how that happens, and then we'll learn how to efficiently handle that and actually refute it. So e4, e5, the attempts, most popular attempts for the scholar's mate will start with queen h5, attacking the pawn on f7 and e5. So half of the people who have had this experience of getting into the scholar's mate are totally terrorized by it and basically only focus on the f7 squad. They think that whatever happens, we will capture it and they will be checkmated. Even then, when it is not possible. So a lot of people just play this move and lose a whole piece after queen into e5, and when it's a simple double attack. So whatever black blocks the check with, it doesn't matter because white goes on to capture the free rook. Okay, so this is game is already over in first few moves. Black has already lost a rook. So uh, the first thing to protect is the e5 pawn, because right now at this moment the thing which is unsupported is the e5 pawn. So the correct way to do is nc6, and then white usually continues with c4. And the focus of the attack is the weakest square on the chessboard, which is the f7 square, which because this is only supported by the king. And now white has lined up two squares, the bishop and the queen, and is threatening to a checkmate. Most common response is nf6. Usually the beginners think they're attacking the queen, but are shocked after the queen f7 checkmate. So this is the scholar's mate. And right now we'll discuss how to prevent it, because it is easily preventable. But basic thing is you have to be aware that it is there. It is a threat, and it has to be dealt with carefully. So now the way to do it is handle one threat at a time. Okay, so right now the only thing that is threatened is the e5 pawn. So we'll protect it. And after bishop c4, now there are multiple ways actually to protect the pawn on f7. Let us say I have queen e7, queen f6, and let us say even or a very popular d5. So I see this response many times. So people are thinking, okay, if you can prevent it for one move, it is enough. But this is really inefficient, because it just ends up losing a very important central pawn, and white still maintains the same threat of queen into f7, and again it's a checkmate. And a very common response also again here is bishop e6, which is even worse because white can just keep on capturing, and this bishop cannot be captured because of the. So it can become a pretty hopeless situation for black pretty soon if the defense is not carried out accurately. So the idea of defense is to, and one of the key motives of defense is to spend the minimum amount of effort in defense. Okay, so we have to defend efficiently with the minimum amount of effort, and that move is g6. So mm, this is an attack defense move. It is very powerful. A lot of times I've seen white players just forget the queen here and letting it be captured, because for one moment you are attacking, another moment you are the attacked. It is very difficult for beginners to change and accept that basic fact. So it is a thing that happens many times. So g6 is the most powerful move because it attacks while defending. Okay, so persistent scholar mate fan will continue with this queen f3, and again the threat is checkmate on f7. And the most efficient move here is nf6, because we have to do what we want to do, and what we want to do is development. And as we know, we have developed the minor pieces well first, and we want to do that. So here we will develop the knight. Now, most worrisome move here is g4, which is very easy to handle, but lot of people will just play a very lame move, something like bishop g7, and again either lose a piece or again get into the same checkmate after the move g5, because if you move the knight, you get into the same checkmate. And if you, let us say, know now that you have made the mistake and you choose to castle or something to prevent f7, attack on f7, and you still end up losing the piece. Okay, so these are the things that are there. Now, as we are aware, the whole focus of this attack is the f7 point, and we have to be really careful to be able to protect it carefully. Okay, so now if we see, now before we think about the defense, the important thing to notice, white has only two attackers. So if we either kick one of them away or obstruct their path in some ways, we can defend successfully. So one of my recommendations is d5, which is a popular move here. Now black is suddenly going on a counter attack. So if the pawn captures, the knight suddenly jumps to d4. Okay, now the queen is under attack. Okay, and you have to take the queen somewhere, and suddenly black will capture g4, and uh, we have a black is suddenly totally winning. White's position has been destroyed. There's nothing much to write home about. Okay, so this is one of the ways to handle the attempts on the uh, f7 square in name of the scholar's mate. Okay, so and so g4 is a very crude attempt, and like I said, it can be handled by playing d5 and ed5 and nd4, and there's also a popular trap here. So let us say queen chooses to go to c3, and also prevents the attack on c2. Okay, so I let us say play bishop g4, and lot of times white will play d3. Here black has that very fancy move bishop b4, creating a pin with the idea that when the queen captures, knight c2, and it's a fork on the king and the queen. So I hope you found this small discussion on the scholar's mate useful. It is very important to go through it a few times to understand what is the way, remember the move orders, and once you do that, you won't fall into it ever again. So with that, we'll complete this session, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.